All right. Well, good morning, everyone. It's really good to be here. So what we're going to do together in our time is I want to share with you the surprising science of meetings. And I really want to focus on, though, implications for you as leaders and implications for your organization. In fact, too many meetings was identified as the #1 time waster at work. And this next stat is, I think, really jarring, that 72% of senior managers say meetings are unproductive. But they're the ones who call the most meetings. So when you think about 55 million meetings, and you think about all this incredible frustration, right? 55 million, all this incredible frustration, you can make the case that we are both living and dying in meetings. But as an organizational psychologist, I saw this as an amazing opportunity, right? We could fix something that's so incredibly frustrating to people. This is particularly important because a world without meetings is not a better place. We need meetings for communication, cooperation, consensus decision-making. In many regards, organizational democracy takes place in meetings. So what we want to do is eliminate bad meetings. I want you to get in your group to identify what you see are your top 3 pieces of advice for meeting leaders. Now, I'm going to share a behind-the-scenes comment right now. Notice how I call it a quick 7, right? It's because I'm going to be sharing with you a quick 7. Now, I used to call it a top 7 ideas to make meetings better. But then I got feedback. And the feedback was you never present to an audience saying it's your top 7. Because if you present your top 7, they won't buy the book. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. So this is a quick 7, and it's very different. It's very, very different. Because the book has 2 million ideas in it. And I just randomly selected 7. All right, so you now get into your little groups, and I want you to identify your top 3 ideas for making meetings better. #1, it starts with mindset. What we have found in our research is that the best meeting leaders have something in common, is that they think differently. The best meeting leaders inherently recognize that they are a steward of others' time. That's a really meaningful thought, right? Because if you see yourself as a steward of others' time, you start to become intentional, right? The thought of people leaving your meeting saying that was a waste of time really upsets you. And you will do things to make sure that doesn't happen. So that mindset of being a steward is absolutely critical to meeting success. So when we think of agendas, we typically think of agendas as a set of topics to be discussed. And what I want to propose is designing your agendas sometimes as a set of questions to be answered. We're calling this meeting together to answer these questions. This is a fundamentally different activity. A leader trying to organize by questions now has to think more carefully, right? They have to be intentional. It's really, it just sparks much more thought. You can no longer be habitual. You have to think. Once you identify your questions, you're better able to know who needs to be at the meeting because they're relevant to the questions. You know when to end the meeting because the questions have been answered. And if you just can't think of any questions, you likely don't need a meeting. Now I'm excited about meetings. I'm excited that meeting science can truly move the dial on meetings. The simple techniques we talked about can absolutely make a difference. I'm excited that because meetings are just so bad that even if we make just 20% of them 20% better, we're able to do more mission-related activities. And while you can't control other people's meetings, you can control your meetings. You can make a commitment to make your meetings better. You can make a commitment that you're not going to be part of the problem. And I think that's exciting.